All right. Hello and what is up, guys? Welcome to the Reset. I, of course, am C-Dubs, and you guys are tuning in for another episode of the Weekly Reset here. So the Weekly Reset is essentially every Thursday I put together a vlog, essentially, and kind of talk about what national day it is, drop some gamer knowledge on y'all, announce a stream that kind of ties into all of that. But I also think that I'm going to be revamping the Weekly Reset as well. I had been trying to get into the habit of doing a weekly vlog on Wednesdays and then dropping my weekly reset on Thursdays. That's a lot of work. That is a lot of work. So what I'm going to start doing moving forward is I'm going to end up revamping the weekly reset to be kind of the vlog and my gamer knowledge segments kind of just smashed together. And I don't know how this is going to work out. I know where I want to go with it. So these first few weeks here are going to be a little bit, a little elementary, if you will. But I was really wanting to do it simply because I want the opportunity and the chance to actually work on video editing skills. This is something that I'm actively pursuing, I guess, if you will. That's the whole reason why I've started my YouTube. Is it's great to play video games and whatnot, but I've always wanted to do some kind of work in broadcasting or web design or graphic design, and so this kind of gives me that outlet to do so. So moving forward, starting next week, I'll actually I'll actually be putting more effort into transitions, trimming, cutting, trying to fuse together multiple videos into one long weekly show, and I have an idea of where I want to go with it, but just bear with me on this. I know it's a lot to digest, so we have a lot of information to talk about this week. I'm going to try and get through it as quickly and as painlessly as possible. So let's go ahead and head on to it here. So first things first, I actually do want to talk about the channel and what I've been doing on my YouTube. Like, I've been doing SteamWorld Quest, I've been doing Burnout Paradise snippets, I've been doing Slay the Spire stuff, and that's all really taken a very good foothold. I'll be completely honest with you. Slay the Spire, I thoroughly enjoyed. It's my go-to casual game, if you will. SteamWorld Quest, I've been playing the crap out of it. It's my kind of 45-minute to an hour segment of gameplay to where people can fire it up. It's not extremely hard to follow. It's not overtly loud or obnoxious. It's very nice, chill, and I get to do a lot of storytelling with it. You know, I get to actually sit there and read what the characters are talking about, and I get to put voices to put personalities and voices to characters rather. And it's a lot of fun for me because it actually helps me with kind of getting my brain to fire off the way I want it to, and connecting, where this is working and where this wants to go, my mouth, that is. So I'm really, really impressed with how it's coming along, and people are actually watching it. And the Burnout Paradise is another one. It's I do snippets with Burnout Paradise, and it's basically like a 2-minute to 5-minute quick shot video, and I'm racing whatever I'm racing, and then it's just saying whatever I can say information-wise without being a lot of white noise. I try to get my point across in as little time as possible, as concisely as possible, and as succinctly as possible. Trying to be the most efficient use of both of our times, right? So I'm really impressed with how that's going. My Burnout Paradise videos have actually gotten a lot of attention, so thank you guys for that. And on that note, I really do want to extend my thanks to anybody who's watching this, and most definitely my very small, albeit tight-knit community that I've worked on here. I'm doing my part here, but you guys are ultimately doing the rest of the work, the most of the work. I wouldn't be where I'm at today, and it's not a whole lot, you know what I mean? But I'm very proud of where we've come thus far. In just the past 2 weeks, I've gotten 8 new subscribers. Hold on. Excuse me. Got something caught in the back of my throat. But I've gotten 8 new subscribers in the past 2 weeks. I've got 800 lifetime views according to my YouTube analytics, and I only started this in June of 2021. So it's still very much so a baby, and a lot of that work has come into play around November. So we didn't even really get two fully fleshed out videos coming through until about November, December, about that time, about the holidays. And so for me, it's amazing to watch something go from just a big old goose egg, essentially, right? To this small, flourishing little idea. And I really want to thank you guys for that, because I wouldn't be able to find the motivation, or find the inspiration, rather, to get on here and keep going if it wasn't for you guys. Okay, hold on. I got to clear out my throat. Just give me a second here. Okay, now that we've got that taken care of, I apologize about that. I have no idea what was going on there. I just had a little bit of a clinger in the back of my throat there. Went ahead and got me some water here, so I apologize, but I'm gonna have to sip during the recording of this. So just bear with me. I'm not trying to be rude, but back to the success of the channel thus far. It's amazing for me to actually see something go from nothing and grow into what it is. And again, like, to keep reiterating, I have no one to thank but you guys. Like, you guys give me the confidence to get on here and actually put this content on there, and you guys are sparking the inspiration within me to actually try and come up with stuff that makes the channel unique to me, right? Unique to us, as far as like trying to put content out there that I know people are going to watch, rather than just just saying or doing or playing video games, just idly occupying my time, if you will. Just to give you an idea, is last week on the Weekly Reset, I did a Super Mario stream for National Mario Day. And I actually had someone stop in, and they subscribed, and they chatted to me all night long while I was sitting there playing it. I only played for like an hour, but it was really cool, because we sat there and, we had talked, to each other a little bit, and I just kind of played Super Mario, and it was super nice. Like, I like that. I like the fact that people are coming in and saying hello. And it was Saturday morning of last week. Last Saturday, I actually did an early morning Slay the Spire stream. No commentary. I just woke up and I was like, I can't go to sleep, so I'm going to fire up old Slay the Spire, and we'll do a stream. And had another person come in and just sat there and chilled and watched me for a little bit before they ended up liking and subscribing. So I know we're on the right path here. I know we're onto something good. I just got to keep hammering it out. And so that said, I just ultimately want to thank you guys, because without you, none of this would be possible, because I wouldn't even be thinking twice to try and come on here and do this, right? So that said, new series that I want to talk about. There's a lot on my mind, and I've said it multiple times, but I've got a lot of video series ideas that I want to do. For instance, I want to do daily Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is a little farming simulator, and it's just basically going to be 15 to 20 minute videos of me getting on here and just, kind of relaxing, just very casual gameplay. And it's a game that I think needs to be showcased, because it puts me in a good spot whenever I'm playing mentally. It puts me in a very happy place when I'm playing. It reminds me a lot of Harvest Moon, and I grew up with Harvest Moon, and that was kind of my escape, if you will. That's where, whenever life was getting too tough, I just play Harvest Moon and just go brain dead farming crops and raising animals. So I want to get on that train here in a bit. Excuse me, good Lord. One moment, please. I also want to get back on doing my Plants vs. Zombies videos. I've kind of fallen off on that, mainly because Plants vs. Zombies needs a little video card rework every time I fire it up. I've got to change the resolution, blah, blah, blah. It's all Japanese, really, to those of you who aren't paying attention. But I'll try and make a video to go into detail how I got that to work with my video recorder. But long story short, I want to get back on Plants vs. Zombies and kind of conclude that series. Just put another series up onto the channel, like complete wise, and then eventually go back and do no commentary single play videos, just for like tip videos and whatnot. A couple commentary games that I want to get into is Healer's Quest, Ziggurat 2, and Monster Train, mostly because I love those games. Those games are... I played Healer's Quest a little bit. Ziggurat 2, I freaking love. I played Ziggurat 1 all the way through multiple times, and it's just, again, that puts me in a good place, like, as far as being able to speak to it, and just, enjoying myself while I play. And I think that's very key whenever it comes to the channel. You have to actually enjoy what you're playing. You can't just play to what they call the YouTube algorithm all the time. That's no fun and no bueno. So these are all just ideas that you can expect to see moving forward in the next month. I'm hoping to start kickstarting a lot of these video series, just to kind of see where they go, So, and if you guys have any questions or any suggestions as far as games to play or series to start, please do not hesitate to hit me up. I will be more than happy to play whatever you guys want on whatever platform at whatever time. The feedback is very much so welcome. So don't feel skittish or shy whenever it comes to voicing your opinion. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to entertain you guys. So I do believe that's going to be it for the vlog section here. I just wanted to kind of touch base with you guys and let you know the direction that the channel's going in, give my thanks to my small community, and I'm hoping to see this thing continue to grow, and I definitely need your guys' help with it. So that said, with that conclusion of the vlog side of things, let's go ahead and move on to the actual weekly reset, where we talk about St. Patty's Day, we're going to talk about RPGs, and we're also going to be talking whatever game is free on Epic Games. So let's go for it. Alright, so basically for Epic Games, it's pretty much the same kind of visual as last week, right? But this time around, we're actually coming up on Thursday, which is, for me, just a few hours away. But for right now, until 11 a.m. on Thursday, March 17th, you can get City Skylines still for free from the Epic Games Store. And again, I can't reiterate how much this game is actually fun to play, very user-friendly, and if you got a PC that can support the graphics, highly recommend as a city builder. Highly, highly recommend. And it's a game that you can sit there and take your time with. It's very casual-friendly, if you will. But at 11 a.m. today, In Sound Mind is going to go on sale for free. Now, I have no idea what that game is all about. We can actually go ahead and just click on it real quick, and let's find out, now that I'm thinking about it. No idea what this here is all about. It says it's a horror adventure, and it's In Sound Mind is an imaginative first-person psychological horror with frenetic puzzles, unique boss fights, and original music by the Living Tombstone. Okay, so it's not really my kind of game. Not gonna lie, I don't do horror. I'm a big old pansy when it comes to horror games. I like to play, I like to play games though where either I have the weapon to solve problems, or I like to play games that put me in a very happy place mentally. Horror games, not my bag. But if horror games are your deal and you like to be spooked, then go ahead and hop on Epic Games at 11 a.m. and get that bad boy for free, and it will be available until next week, March 24th at 11 a.m. So that does it for our Epic Games portion of the segment here. We're going to move right on into St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. It is a day where a lot of people get together, they do a lot of drinking, and they have a lot of fun and listen to a lot of Irish music, and it's by far one of my all-time favorite days. I'm not going to lie. But given the fact that I've been slowing down on the drinking as of late, I won't be doing those things. I'll actually be getting on here later tonight to play an RPG called Kingdoms of Amalur. But before we get into that, I actually want to talk about the importance of St. Patrick's Day and the origins, if you will. So essentially, we have right here, it says the March 17th celebration started in 1631 when the church established a feast day honoring St. Patrick. He had been the patron saint of Ireland, who had died around the 5th century, a whopping 12 centuries before the modern version of the holiday was observed. So, to give you the TLDR of all of this, it started on 1631, but St. Patrick was not originally St. Patrick. He was actually born Maewyn Succat, and he was, I think they said here he was like British or Roman. Yeah, okay, we know that he was a Roman citizen because Britain was Roman then. So he actually wasn't of Irish descent per se. But he ended up getting enslaved. He was taken over to Ireland, and then somehow he ended up escaping. Now, the details, they don't really say a whole lot about that part of it, but what's really interesting is he had changed his name to St. Patrick, and then Patrick, or his name Patricius or Patrick, which derives from the Latin term for father figure, he became a priest as well. So he became like a fatherly priest that converted a lot of the Druids from Ireland over to Catholicism. And that's where the importance of St. Patrick's Day comes from. It's a day of merriment because it was kind of, for lack of a better term, saving Ireland from paganism. And I know that's probably not the best way to word it, but that's how it's viewed essentially in traditional ways. And it was due to these successes and these advances that the luck of the Irish was actually established. And I thought that was pretty cool. I just wanted to go ahead and touch base on that. You can find all this here on Time Magazine, or time.com, I'm sorry. I'll actually post the link in the description down below if you guys are real curious about reading it. That way that information is available to anyone and everyone who wants to see it. But on that note, I actually do want to talk about the importance of Celtic mythology in gaming in general, or even just storytelling in general. A lot of stuff that comes from Celtic mythology can be found in all sorts of literature and all sorts of video games. And I mean, first and foremost, let's talk about fairies. Fairies are the basis, I feel, for Irish mythology, or Celtic mythology, if you will, the basis of Druidism, because the fairies were thought to bring upon fate, good or bad, to those who were around. And there were different types of fairies. There was the fae, and fate played a huge part of it. Like, you could change your fate, or your fate was sealed, and then you just followed it. And then of course you had the gods and goddesses of the forest who ended up blessing or cursing you as you went through, and they all had their own little minions. And the minions and monsters, there's a lot of them. They've got funny names, but you'll recognize them. Like the Banshee, for instance, is essentially like just a bad omen creature. She's kind of like a ghostly figure. She walks around, and she'll walk around and she'll shriek and she'll scream, and usually whoever hears it, that means that there's a bad omen. There's a bad set of events that's about to happen to somebody, and if you hear it, you better be on your guard. Then we have the dragons, also known as the Oilifeist. Then we come down here. This is actually pretty cool. This is the Headless Horseman right here, essentially. Like, it's another type of fairy, a very dark fairy. Not a good fairy. I mean, this dude was a big bad guy, and he did big bad things. But down here, we got the Leprechaun right there. I mean, who doesn't know the Leprechaun? And then we also come down, like, we've got the Puka, which is kind of like a mischievous, like, goblin. And I find that funny because the Puka kind of reminds me, at least the way they talk here, is it reminds me of, like, the treasure goblin from Diablo 3 or Diablo 2. You follow him around and you just try to hack him up and get as many goodnesses from him as possible. Then you have the Marrow. This is the last one we're going to talk about here, but the Marrow is pretty much a mermaid, and they're very nice, very modest, versus like the siren type mermaids from other folklore. So just real interesting stuff, and it's funny to see how the influences of Celtic mythology are kind of drawn upon for a lot of really good storytelling. I mean, we take J.R.R. Tolkien, for instance. He would take bits and pieces from different types of mythology, but that can be seen in his work. And then we go on over to stuff like Diablo, or we go on to you name an RPG or a story that's kind of based in that time or that era. There's going to be a lot of influences found from Celtic mythology. And if that interests you guys, I definitely highly recommend that you guys look it up, kind of delve deeper into it, because there's some fascinating stuff out there. But on that note, I actually want to talk about how, like we talked about, how Celtic mythology influences a lot of video games out there and a lot of literature, but the main type of video game that this influences is the role-playing game. So the role-playing game is it's a genre of video game where the gamer takes control of a fictional character that undertakes a quest in an imaginary world. This is what got me hooked on video games way long far time ago when I was just a wee pup. I remember playing Dragon Warrior, and Dragon Warrior for me was just the ultimate. It was so awesome, and it was a game that I could sit there and play and get lost in. And Dragon Warrior and Chrysalis, I remember Chrysalis too. But I sat there and I was maybe 5 or 6, and I had a couple notebooks, and I would go through and I'd write like little stat sheets, what how many HP like a character got whenever they leveled up, and I'd sit there and I'd draw maps and lay out towns and what shops had what, and I was nerding out over this stuff, and it really got me hooked into video games in general. And so what makes an RPG an RPG is the ability to improve your character over the course of the game. So long and short of it, level up. You'll hear me talk a lot about leveling up, like leveling up a skill or leveling up in life, or well, that's where this idea came from. And then you have kind of a menu-based combat system, and usually turn-based. It's usually turn-based, and Japanese RPGs are actually a very good example of this. You take Dragon Warrior, for example, then there's the Final Fantasy series, but that's the very classic, very concrete idea of what an RPG is. But the whole point of an RPG, oh, sorry about that. But the whole point of the RPG is the character is on a quest for whatever. There's a central story that it all revolves around, and there's usually a really big bad dude, and you're playing a little humble, weak, good guy who becomes stronger and stronger as he or she advances through the storyline. And then you have the ability to actually, talk to people, or, ability to interact with elements of the environment throughout the course of the main storyline. And this allows you to find hidden secrets, extra little valuables, stuff that's really going to up your game. It's not required, but it's definitely something you want to have on your side. And then the final attribute of your traditional RPG is the existence of certain character classes, such as like wizards, warriors, thieves, rogues, warlocks, necromancers. These are all very classic character classes, right? Take Diablo, the Diablo series, for example, is that's got a lot of character classes in it. Final Fantasy, another great, probably the most concrete idea of what an RPG should be. I touched on Dragon Warrior. That was my personal poison when it came to role-playing games. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that said, there's a lot of good RPG games out there, and I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that's what makes a good RPG an RPG is you have to have like basically these 5 building blocks to go off of, and then from there you just let the story tell itself. One RPG that we will be playing tonight on stream for St. Patrick's Day is the Kingdoms of Amalur, the Re-Reckoning. And essentially what that is, it's an RPG that's based on Celtic lore. I actually had to do a lot of research here to find a St. Patrick's Day or Irish themed video game, because the Irish and the Celtic, like as influential as they are throughout the whole idea of storytelling, it's hard to find a game that's actually centralized around that. And Kingdoms of Amalur, the Re-Reckoning, is actually evidently very heavily based in Celtic mythology. So I'm super stoked to be able to play that tonight with y'all. It will be going online tonight at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. rather, and it will be played via my PS4. And yeah, I've never played it. I fired it up a couple of times, and so honestly, I'm really looking forward to playing this and kind of exploring what this RPG has to offer. And plus, it gives me an excuse to start up a new series, because I'm always looking to try and start up a new series. But depending on how far we get into the stream tonight, I might actually add that to the arsenal of videos and playlists to keep working on in the future. So that's going to do it for the weekly reset here, guys. I really appreciate anybody and everybody who's watching. It really does mean a whole lot to me. Like this is phenomenal to see my channel grow in the way that it has. And I've had a lot of close friends subscribe, and then I've had a bunch of random people kind of show their support and tune into me that way. And so like it's really cool for me to see all the pieces fall into place. And I really do want to extend my thanks to you guys one more time, because again, without you, I'm just a fool on a screen talking to himself and a camera. But yeah, if you guys do like what you see, please go ahead and hit that like. Puts my video out there to the YouTube universe. If you could just share this video. If you watch this and you get to the end and you're like, hey, that really wasn't too bad, just put it, share it to your timeline, share it to your Twitter, share it to your Instagram, However, I just want this thing to keep taking off and keep moving in the direction that we're going. If you haven't subscribed already, please make sure that you do subscribe. You know, keep up on all my latest content, because I'm always doing 3 videos a day, roughly 3 to 4 videos a day, one very long video and then 3 little snippet videos. And if you guys have anything that you want to add, any kind of input whatsoever, questions, comments, video suggestions, the comment section's right down there. Don't hesitate. Just put it in there, and I promise you, like, I'll get back to you probably like within 5 minutes, to be honest with you, because while I'm sitting here hanging out at home, or even while I'm over working my butt off on the line at the restaurant, I'm usually checking my phone and checking my YouTube just to make sure that everything's still panning out. Always on those analytics, always on those comments, you know, and I welcome the feedback. I welcome the input. But I will go ahead and I will leave it right there on this note, guys, and I will see you later on tonight on my stream, my YouTube channel at 11 p.m. for the stream of the Kingdoms of Amalur, the Re-Reckoning. So that's it, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, the support is phenomenal and very much appreciated, and I'll see you all in the next video.